I grip the steering wheel firmly as the iron gates of my parents' estate swing open. Driving up to their Connecticut mansion always feels like stepping into a world where I remain an outsider. The crunch of autumn leaves beneath my tires forms a golden and crimson melody, yet it contrasts with the emptiness inside me. My charcoal pencil skirt and burgundy blouse are elegant but intentionally modest, chosen carefully for their 35th anniversary celebration. I know too well that my mother prefers me to blend in rather than stand out. Before I can reach for my purse, Eliza's silver Mercedes glides in behind me. Through the rearview mirror, I watch her emerge in a gold dress shimmering in the late afternoon light. Her timing, as always, is flawless. The front door swings open, revealing my father in a tailored suit and my mother radiant in pale blue silk. Their faces brighten as Eliza approaches. "There's our princess," Mom exclaims, stretching out her arms. Dad sweeps Eliza into a hug, lifting her slightly off the ground. I step out of my car, smoothing my skirt. Mom glances at me over Eliza's shoulder, her smile fading just enough for only me to notice. "Veronica, you made it," she says. Not quite a welcome, more an acknowledgement. Dad gives my shoulder a quick pat before turning back to Eliza. "Sweetheart, wait until you see the decorations. We really outdid ourselves this year." Inside, the grand foyer sparkles with silver and crystal. White roses and lilies overflow from tall vases, their fragrance nearly overwhelming. A string quartet plays softly in the corner, the finest arrangements for Robert and Eleanor White's celebration. At the dining room entrance, a framed seating chart rests on an antique stand. My finger traces the neat calligraphy until I find my name. Table 14. In the far corner near the kitchen doors, 6 tables away from my parents and Eliza. "We wanted you to have a chance to network," Mom says suddenly, appearing at my side. "The Hendersons will be at your table. They're always seeking tech consultants." I nod, swallowing the familiar ache. How thoughtful. She pats my arm absently before drifting away to welcome other guests. Near the grand staircase, the event planner, slender, clipboard in hand, leans toward my mother. Their voices carry across the marble floor. "Regarding the photographs, Mrs. White, we've scheduled the photographer for 7:30. Will that work for the family portraits?" "That's fine," my mother replies, lowering her voice to a stage whisper. "But make sure we get one with just the 3 of us, Robert, myself, and Eliza. That's the one we'll enlarge for the living room." My hand tightens around the champagne flute just handed to me. 3 of them, never 4. A waiter with kind eyes notices my reaction. With a quiet understanding, he refills my glass before slipping away. I retreat to a window alcove as old memories surge forward. Thanksgiving dinner at 8. Seated at the kids' table while Eliza, just 5, sat proudly between Mom and Dad. Christmas mornings when Eliza's gifts spilled across the floor while mine fit neatly under one branch. My high school debate championship, where my parents arrived only for the closing remarks after spending the afternoon at Eliza's choir rehearsal. The pattern never changed. Veronica, the afterthought. Eliza, the treasured one. By 16, I had found refuge in worn business books from the library. While Eliza gathered ribbons from hobbies she abandoned quickly, I drafted business plans at the kitchen table. A student concierge service? Dad barely looked at my proposal. "Honey, focus on your studies. Leave business to the professionals." That same month, Eliza's watercolor of our house, with its crooked windows and odd proportions, was framed and hung in the hallway. Meanwhile, my Regional Young Entrepreneur Award collected dust in my bedroom closet. The doorbell rings again as more guests arrive, their attention naturally drawn to Eliza's bright laugh at the center of the room. I linger at the edges, guiding Aunt Susan to her seat and showing Uncle William where the restrooms are. "Veronica." My father passes by, eyes elsewhere. "Make sure the caterers bring out the right champagne for the toast. The veuve, not the moët." I straighten my back and nod. Of course, not welcomed as a guest. Not seen as a daughter. Just another pair of hands to ensure everything runs smoothly. An invisible part of the celebration. 15 minutes later, as the chatter softens, my father stands at the head of the table. His silver hair glimmers under the chandelier, his tuxedo tailored perfectly. He raises his glass and silence spreads across the room. 35 years, he begins, his voice steady and strong. 35 years of building a home, a legacy, and a family. His eyes scan the guests before settling on Eliza. A warm smile spreads across his face. And nothing reflects that legacy more than our beautiful daughters, especially Eliza, who brightens every room she enters. I hold my practiced smile as he recounts a story about 5-year-old Eliza singing at their 20th anniversary. No mention of me at 15, organizing the entire event behind the scenes. The speech continues, her graduation, her volunteer work, her artistic talents. My name never surfaces. To Eleanor, my heart, he toasts, before lifting his glass higher. And to Eliza, the greatest gift our marriage has given us. Mother rises, tears shining, and embraces Eliza tightly. Guests applaud. I clap along, my smile unshaken, though I stand alone at the edge. Across the room, Cousin Thomas meets my gaze, giving a quick, almost invisible shake of his head. Aunt Barbara fidgets with her napkin. Uncle Philip checks his watch far too intently. They all know. They've always known. I exhale slowly, my face composed, what James calls my CEO look, the one that hides everything during high-stakes deals. Tonight, it hides something far more personal. And now, Father announces, a special presentation. Mother retrieves a red Cartier box from under the table, setting it before Eliza. The entire room falls silent, even the waitstaff pauses. For the true fruit of our 35 years, Father declares, voice full of emotion. Something as timeless as you are to us. Eliza opens the box. Inside lies a diamond-encrusted watch, sparkling under the lights. Gasps ripple through the guests. The Santos de Cartier, Father says proudly, custom-made with Eleanor's birthstone at 12. A whisper spreads. The price, $15,000. Eliza squeals, throwing herself into our parents' arms as they pose in perfect harmony. I stand at my station near the kitchen doors, unnoticed. No second box awaits me. No token for the firstborn. When the clapping dies down, I slip toward the bar. Aunt Margaret intercepts me, her frail fingers curling around my wrist. Come with me for some air, dear. Outside, autumn air replaces the heavy scent of lilies. Margaret settles onto a stone bench. Did you know, she says without hesitation, this is the 3rd luxury gift she's had this year? The spa weekend in February, the summer in France. I frown. France? She said she won that trip? Margaret shakes her head. Robert paid for it, just like he's been covering her rent these past 3 years. Cold clarity settles over me. The picture sharpens. That explains why my Series C announcement never made the family newsletter, I murmur. The same month Eliza started selling soaps at the farmer's market, Margaret nods. Your mother called it a hobby. Your $40 million round was hidden in paragraph 12 after Philip Jr.'s soccer scores. My phone buzzes. James, how's the coronation? Need an escape? A genuine smile tugs at my lips. I type back quickly, standing by. Might need extraction before dessert. Uncle William joins us, bourbon in hand. Quite a watch, he says, eyes soft. Almost as impressive as that prize you won last month. Innovation Leadership Award, I correct gently. And it's fine, he leans closer. You know your success makes them uncomfortable. Always has. The waiter from earlier pours me a fresh glass with a quiet nod. A small kindness in a room full of careful neglect. From across the terrace, Sarah, my childhood friend, approaches. She squeezes my hand. I saw everything. Want to sneak out like prom night? Before I answer, my phone rings again. My assistant. Veronica White, I say. Business tone firm. Miss White, Alexis replies as planned. Sorry to interrupt, but the Singapore client needs urgent attention. I understand. 10 minutes. As I slip my phone away, the event planner calls for family photos on the grand staircase. The guests drift inside like a river of silk. I follow, taking my assigned place on the lowest step. Mother adjusts Eliza's hair. Father straightens his tie. The photographer directs. I stand at the far edge, half of me already outside the frame. Flash, click, finished. Mother's voice floats through the marble hall. Just the 3 of us for the portrait. She doesn't look at me. She doesn't have to. The instruction hangs there, plain and final. I stand still while they arrange themselves. Mother, father, the favored daughter on the staircase, the complete family, without me. The photographer fine-tunes his camera. Guests watch in silence. I don't step back and I don't object as the last images are taken. I know one of those photos will hang in the room, a permanent proof of where I belong in the family's white space hierarchy. Nowhere. When my parents lift Eliza for a champagne toast, I slip away from the party. I retreat to my father's home office, log into email, and call my assistant to resolve a work issue. After 15 minutes of checking charts, slides, and notes, we send the revised proposal to the client. I want a brief rest. My footsteps sound hollow as I climb the staircase to my childhood bedroom. A moment of peace, that's all I need. I push the door open and the air tightens. This is not my room. Eliza's pageant crowns glitter on my old bookshelf. Her sorority composites hang where my honor roll certificates once were. The soft green walls have been repainted in Eliza's favorite lavender. They didn't even wait for me to clear my things before remaking the space. I whisper into the emptiness. My fingers follow the outline of my former desk, now a vanity littered with Eliza's cosmetics. Shelves are crowded with trophies from activities she quit after a month. Her stuffed animals take the window seat where I used to read for hours. I open the closet, the last place anything of mine might remain. There's a cardboard box in the corner labeled Veronica Misk. Inside, my college diplomas lie beneath a Young Entrepreneur Award. My summa cum laude tassel is tangled with my business school graduation photo. Everything that marks my achievements, everything that tells my story, shoved away like holiday decorations. A crystalline realization washes over me. Nothing will change. I will always be the box in the corner, the afterthought, the chair by the kitchen door. I sit at the edge of the bed, now covered with a lavender duvet. My hand brushes something hard beneath the pillow. Curious, I pull out an old book, my grandmother's copy of Jane Eyre. Her elegant handwriting inside the cover. To my Veronica, a girl who will forge her own path. With love, Grandma Margaret. I remember Grandma slipping books into my hands at family gatherings while Eliza opened piles of presents. Books build inner worlds, she'd whisper. Places where no one can tell you who to be. As I turn the pages, an envelope falls out. Yellowed, sealed with wax stamped with my grandmother's initial. My name is written across the front. The laughter from the party floats up as I break the seal. The letter is dated 3 weeks before Grandma died, nearly 5 years ago. My dearest Veronica, it reads. If you're reading this, you've taken refuge in Jane Eyre. I knew the day would come when invisibility would weigh too heavily. I recognize the pattern. Your husband's family treated me the same way your family treats you, as if I were a supporting character. Know this, you are the protagonist of your own life. I have arranged with Mr. Abernathy at the bank for an account in your name alone, containing funds and my personal journals. The code is the date we visited the Metropolitan Museum, just the two of us. This is not about money, though that will help. It is about legacy. You are my true heir in spirit. The quiet ones who observe, learn, and ultimately succeed where the celebrated falter. Remember, Veronica, family is sometimes who sees you, not who shares your name. With endless faith, Grandma Margaret, tears blur the ink. She knew, she saw what was happening and left this lifeline. My grandmother, the only person in this house who truly saw me. I reach for my phone. 3 messages wait from my business partners. James, how's the family circus? Our dinner reservation's on standby if you need an escape. Michelle, the acquisition meeting went perfectly. The board voted unanimously in your favor. You're a genius, V. Remind your family of that when they seat you at the kids' table. David, we're here for you. You're real family. My thumb hovers before I reply. Grandma left me a letter and an inheritance. I'm done waiting for a place at their table. Answers arrive at once. James, about time. We've been saving a chair at the head of ours. Michelle, whatever you decide, we're with you. David, your grandmother sounds like the only smart white besides you. I recall how they supported me when we launched the company, how they defended me when clients assumed James was CEO, how they celebrated milestones with sincere joy, so different from my parents' hollow congratulations that always ended with, "But Eliza." My jaw tightens. I slide the letter into my purse and move to the wall where a framed photo from my high school graduation hangs. I'm on the edge of the picture, as always. I lift it from the frame, carefully cut myself free from the border, and tuck the small photo into my wallet. In my mother's dressing room, I find Grandma's brooch pinned to a scarf borrowed years ago. I unpin it gently, feeling its weight, and secure it to my blouse. Downstairs, near the garden doors, Mr. Abernathy, my parents' financial advisor, sips champagne. I approach him with steady confidence. Mr. Abernathy, I say, I believe we have some business to discuss. I hand him my card. Whenever it's convenient. He glances down. Veronica White, CEO, White Innovations. His eyes lift surprised. He tucks the card into his pocket. I've been watching your company grow. Very impressive. Your grandmother would be proud, he adds. I reply quietly. I think she would. The party swirls around me as I move through the crowd, my head held higher than it has been all night. No one notices when I hand my ticket to the valet. No one watches as my car pulls away. In the rearview mirror, the party lights shrink. Tears fall, but my breathing evens out. My phone buzzes, a text from Eliza. Where are you? They're about to cut the cake. I don't answer. Instead, I press my fingers to my grandmother's brooch, feeling its shape. The road ahead is open. For the first time in 32 years, I'm not driving toward my parents' approval. I'm driving away from their dismissal. The empty chair I leave can remain empty. A different seat waits for me, at another table, with people who make space in their hearts. The crisp autumn air fills my lungs as I step from my car at La Fontaine. Warm golden light spills from the restaurant onto the sidewalk, comfort after the chill of my parents' estate. My hands have finally stopped shaking on the wheel. 40 minutes of driving with blurred vision was risky but necessary. Some distances aren't measured in miles. Through the windows, I see them gathered at our usual corner table. James, Caitlin, and Robert, my business partners, my chosen family. They haven't noticed me yet, but they're ready. Champagne is poured. The maitre d' spots me before I reach the door. Miss White, we've been expecting you. His smile reaches his eyes. Shall I take your coat? Inside, the restaurant hums with low conversation and the soft clink of silverware. The scent of garlic butter and fresh herbs replaces my mother's overpowering white roses. James looks up first. His face lights. There she is. I slide into the chair that's always reserved for me, not 6 tables away from those I care for. You actually escaped, Caitlin says, taking my hand. We were betting if you'd make it before dessert. James lifts his flute. To the woman who built something real, he says, while others were planning parties, you were planning the future. The words unlock something tight in my chest. My first genuine smile of the night feels unfamiliar, like a muscle I haven't used. My phone buzzes in my purse, again and again. Let me guess, Robert says with a raised eyebrow. Search party deployed? I pull out my phone. 3 texts from Eliza, increasingly frantic. Where did you go? Mom is furious. Are you seriously ditching the anniversary? The screen switches to an incoming call from my mother. I decline and her voicemail follows immediately. Veronica, I can't believe you left early. People are asking questions. Call me now. My father's message arrives next, his voice tight with controlled anger. You missed Senator Harris and the Douglases. They were asking about tech consultants. Call your mother. I set the phone face down. Not one of them asked if I was okay? Of course not, James says, topping off my glass. That would require seeing you as a person instead of an extension of themselves. Another message from my mother. Emergency meeting tomorrow at 2. You cannot escape this time. The restaurant door opens and 2 figures hurry in, Alicia from marketing and Devin from development. Did we miss it? Devin asks, breathless, waving his phone. The news has already broken. My stomach tightens. It wasn't supposed to go public until morning. James shrugs. Someone leaked. These things happen. Every phone at our table lights up. Then nearby tables too. The notification spreads quickly. Breaking. White Innovations acquired by Stellar Tech for estimated $75. Calls start immediately. Industry contacts? Former clients. College professors who remember my early ambitions. Each one expressing genuine excitement. The restaurant owner approaches with a bottle. On the house, he says. My daughter used your productivity software to finish law school. Congratulations. 2 colleagues arrive, then 3 more. Our corner becomes an impromptu celebration. We have something for you, Caitlin says during a pause. She hands me a small, carefully wrapped package. Inside, beneath tissue, is a framed photograph I've never seen. My grandmother at my age, seated at her desk in the small accounting practice she founded when women were expected to stay home. Her eyes carry the determined glint I see in myself. Where did you find this? I whisper, tracing the silver frame. Aunt Margaret, Caitlin answers. She thought you should have it tonight. Later, back in my apartment, I open my laptop and draft an email to my family. I write deliberately. No mention of the acquisition, no details they could use to make my success about them. Clear boundaries about my future attendance. I left early because I needed to be where I was welcome. I wish you both a happy anniversary, but I will no longer attend events where I am treated as an afterthought rather than a daughter. My finger hovers over send, not yet. Tonight belongs to those who see my worth without headline validation. I close the laptop. For the first time in years, the weight of expectation lifts. Around me, faces shine with genuine affection. No hidden agendas, no conditional love. Tomorrow will bring complications, but tonight I'm exactly where I belong. The next day, I choose the Meridian for our meeting, a deliberate choice. A sleek restaurant on the 40th floor of Hartford's newest skyscraper. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the Connecticut River like a painting. A power spot, my territory, not theirs. Melissa, my executive assistant, arrives with me precisely 5 minutes before 2. Remember, she whispers, organizing files on the table. I'll signal when 30 minutes have passed. I smooth the burgundy silk blouse I chose for today. It feels like armor, not a gesture of compliance. My parents arrive 7 minutes late. Mother's pearl necklace shines against her cashmere sweater. Father wears a tailored suit that likely costs more than most people's monthly mortgage. Their hesitation at the sight of Melissa makes it clear they didn't expect her. I wasn't aware this was a business meeting, Father remarks, glancing at Melissa's portfolio. Just some documents I may need, I reply evenly. Melissa, thank you for bringing these. Before further objections can rise, the hostess guides Eliza to our table. My stomach knots. Of course, they brought backup. Traffic was terrible, Eliza says, slipping into the seat beside Mother. Her eyes move nervously between us. The favored child, sent as emotional leverage. Mother dabs at her eyes before water is even ordered. Do you know how humiliating it was? People asked where you'd gone. Family members noticed your empty seat. Father adds. The Hendersons asked specifically. The business ties always mattered more than I did. I left after being excluded from the family photograph. I state calmly, the one you requested with just the 3 of you. Mother's hand lifts to her throat. You overheard that? It was just one photo, Veronica. Don't exaggerate. One photo that captured 32 years of family dynamics. Melissa slides a folder toward me. I open it, revealing childhood photos arranged chronologically. Christmas, 1998. I place the first photo on the table. Eliza in the center, me cropped at the edge. That was just a bad angle, Mother protests. I add another, my high school graduation. Both of them gazing at Eliza while I hold my diploma. This is absurd, Father mutters. We attended, didn't we? The waiter arrives. Father orders scotch, Mother asks for sparkling water, Eliza copies her. Just coffee. Black, I tell the waiter. Eliza leans forward, voice rehearsed. I felt hurt when you left, Veronica. Like you were punishing me for being loved. The guilt doesn't land. I stay quiet. We told everyone you were dealing with work stress, Mother admits, that you'd been under pressure. People understand burnout. How convenient. I sip water, letting silence stretch. You turned my absence into a story that required no accountability from you. Father's face hardens. You have obligations to this family. Your grandmother would be ashamed. I laugh, surprising even myself. Grandmother left me a letter, and funds meant for me alone. I place the letter on the table. She recognized the pattern while she was alive. Mother pales. What letter? What funds? The inheritance you never mentioned. I discovered it after her death. Father slams the table, rattling glasses. You and your so-called business. Playing entrepreneur instead of joining a respectable firm. This is just attention-seeking, like when you were a child. Robert, Mother hisses, glancing around. People are staring. Success has changed you, she insists. You used to know family comes first. Eliza's mascara smudges as tears well. You always make everything about you. Even my moments became about your feelings. Their tactics once wounded me. Now I recognize them for what they are. Manipulation, not love. You're right about one thing, I reply calmly. Success has changed me. It taught me I deserve to sit at tables where I am valued, not tolerated. I slide my business card onto the glass table. The embossed letters shine. Veronica White, CEO, White Innovations. My company just closed a $75 million acquisition. The news broke last night, while you were celebrating. Their shock might be comical if it weren't so sad. If you want a relationship moving forward, it will be on new terms. Equal respect. No more exclusion. No more Veronica in the shadows while Eliza takes center stage. Father recovers first. Now listen. No, I interrupt, standing. You've had 32 years to speak. I've had my say today. I gather my things. Melissa rises with me. I'd like a relationship with all of you, I add, voice softening, but I no longer need one. There's a difference. Mother's hand trembles around her glass. Father's jaw tightens. Eliza looks lost, perhaps realizing for the first time how the family system truly worked, and how it's collapsing now. Congratulations on your anniversary, I say, shoulders straight. I wish you happiness. I walk away without looking back. Each step feels lighter. Their silence trails me to the elevator, but this time it doesn't define me. The doors close on their stunned faces, and I release 32 years of waiting to matter. In the reflection of the polished doors, I see something new. Peace. 6 months later, I stand in my penthouse kitchen, watching spring's sunset paint Hartford's skyline gold. 6 months since I walked away from that dinner. 6 months of rebuilding on my terms. The antique mahogany table gleams in my dining room, set with grandmother's Wedgwood china, delicate blue flowers against cream porcelain. I run my finger along the edge, remembering generations of white women who once gathered around it, the same table where I was once pushed to the far end, if I was invited at all. Last month, when my father chose to downsize their formal dining room, I outbid everyone at the estate auction. The table came home with me, not as a gesture of peace, but as a reclamation. The doorbell rings. James is the first to arrive, carrying a bottle of Barolo in one hand and a portfolio in the other. Latest projections for the mentorship program, he says, kissing my cheek. 28 applicants already. Women entrepreneurs need more than funding, I reply. They need someone who truly sees their potential. Sarah follows with her husband, then my executive team, 2 professors who sit on my foundation board, and my attorney Margot, who drafted the Family Therapy Center donation in my grandmother's name. While they mingle, I slip into my office where my grandmother's letter hangs framed beside the window. Remember, Veronica. We choose which chairs matter. Her words guided me through my recent TED Talk on finding worth beyond family validation. The video already has 300,000 views. My phone buzzes. Eliza, they're still talking about you missing Easter dinner. Dad keeps calling it another stunt. Our fragile reconnection happens quietly, through texts and the occasional coffee. Without our parents' presence, she's beginning to find her voice, asking about community college, taking small steps toward her own identity. A knock at my office door. Package just came for you, James says, handing me a bubble mailer. Inside is a faded photograph. Eliza and me at ages 6 and 9, arms linked, laughing on a tire swing. On the back, in her handwriting, we were happy before they taught us not to be. I slip the photo into my pocket and return to my guests. They've gathered around the table, glasses raised, conversation flowing, without tension, without performance. No one watching the clock or competing for attention. I take my seat at the head of the table. Not a place earned through birthright or manipulation, but one freely offered by those who value me. To Veronica, James says, raising his glass, whose White Family Foundation just awarded its first scholarship to that brilliant girl from Bridgeport. To second chances, Sarah adds. I stand, the weight of my grandmother's brooch pinned above my heart. To chairs that matter, I say, and the people who fill them. Later, as my guests depart, I linger at the empty table. Tomorrow I'll host again, place cards already written for each person who chose me, not out of duty, but out of genuine connection. At the far end remains one empty chair. Not exile this time, but a reminder of what I left behind and what I've found instead. I run my hand across the polished wood of my grandmother's table, now mine, now filled with laughter instead of judgment, with interest instead of performance. The chair that matters most is the one where you are truly seen, and at last I am.